Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to explore a new feature of LuBan. It is called Fabric. Let's open LuBan software. The Fabric function is under File, Create, Photo Magic. So it works on a photo. Set the method to Fabric. The Fabric method can optionally take a template image, but we will start the demonstration by loading a photo. And the photo that I'm going to use is a UK national flag. I'll use this photo as an example. Select the UK flag, click Open. You will see many knots or many individual structures interlocking each other, reproducing the UK flag. We can increase the model size X and Y. It will keep the aspect ratio. So if you change Y and hit the Enter key, the X will change automatically. You can also change the cell size. One cell refers to one component of the fabric. Currently it is 8. I can increase it to 20, and you will get a low resolution representation of the photo. If you reduce it to 4, you'll get a very high resolution of the photo. And of course, the file size will increase. When you print such a structure, you have to consider the resolution of your printer. A cell size that is set too small may end up having all the units connected with each other, and the fabric is not that flexible. So you have to set it to a size that is big enough to maintain flexibility. These fabrics are, when in their default position, they are not touching each other. So you can print the structure without any support. By default, we don't use any support. You can also set the color. How do you want to extract the color? Currently, I set it to automatic extraction. And the number of color layers, I set it to 4, but actually there are only 3 useful layers: the blue, the white, and the red. That's what is in the flag. You can use Object Select to highlight each color layer. So you have part. These 3 numbers represents RGB values. So this is the white layer. And then you can change to, this is also white layer. Because I set it to 4, I think the algorithm detects 4 color. The subtle difference between bright white and darker white are registered as 2 color. Then we have red, and lastly we have blue, dark blue. As I mentioned before, the UK flag only has 3 dominant colors, so we can reduce this to 3. I set this to 3. Then we will only get 3 components, 1, 2, 3, and that's probably what we want. We can save the component, save the model. Let me see if it's done. Open the export folder. We have 3 STL. We can select the STL, press Ctrl C, go back to LuBan window, press Ctrl V. They are loaded into a batch. You can press left, right up and down keys to browse the batch. The first one is the dark blue STL. The second one is the red STL, and the last one is the white STL. It is not displayed in the original color. When you load these STLs, 3 STLs, into your multi-color printer, you can select in your printer's slicer software that this should be printed in white, that should be printed in red, and this should be printed in blue. If you do multi-color printing and this process, you should be able to get this process very easily. The STL file does not contain color information. You have to set the color in slicer software. You can also use user input color. These color extraction parameters works exactly the same for Fabric as in the painting and puzzle method. If you have used color extraction in painting and puzzle, then the 3 controls should not be unfamiliar to you. I set it to user input, and then I will click this button to input the color. This is useful to indicate, to tell the program what filament is available to you. So the program extracts the 3 colors to represent the photo, the UK flag. But you may not have these filament. The filament that you have might be something different. So you can delete this. And probably, let's say, you want to use only 2 colors to represent the photo. So you have cyan, you have a cyan filament, and you have an orange filament. Then close the dialog. LuBan will recalculate, and this is what you get. It's not a very good representation. It's the best representation based on the color filament that you have. If you happen to have white filament, that's a plus. It will make the flag looks better. Okay, so this is our color manipulation. By default, it is automatic. It gives you the best color representation on screen. But what is printed still depends on the availability of color filament. Lastly, I want to demonstrate what we can do with the optional template. The template, as in any other LuBan function, is a black and white image. I'm going to use a lion as the template. White foreground, black background. You know, UK is a lion, right? If I'm not wrong. The lion UK, let's see what it looks like. Template, open. This is our template. Flag, UK flag, masked by the template. Look here, some of the unit are not connected to the other parts of the unit, the cell. They are not connected because the resolution is not high enough. We have 2 ways to fix this. One way is to increase the model size, so the relative resolution is finer. Another way is to reduce the cell size, and that may give us more cells still disconnected. Maybe if I reduce, not 42, 2. Then we have all the parts connected, but 2 millimeter cell size, I think it is too small. The cell, it looks okay on screen. When you print it, each cell is 2 millimeter. It is not going to be big enough, and you will have a blob. So 2 is probably not okay. Maybe 10. So each cell is 10 millimeter, gives us enough room for the printer to capture all the details. 10 is a big cell size. In order for all the components to be connected, we have to increase the size. I set it to 400. If you have a big printer, you can have 400 dimension. These are not connected. What about 500? When we are at 500, it's all connected. Okay, that is all for this feature, Fabric. I hope you enjoy this new feature. Thank you very much. See you next time.